That's ITC chairperson, but we're going to react to numbers from Marico and United Breweries. Marico came out in market hours yesterday. The stock reacted positively, but United Breweries was a miss. Abneesh Roy, Executive Director, Nuvama Institutional Equities, now joined in. Abneesh, let's begin with United Breweries. A big miss compared to street expectations, and then there are going to be cost increases on account of the Middle East crisis, which further impacts the company going forward.
Yes, hi, good morning. 2-3 updates or results came yesterday. So Marico, of course, came during the market, and immediately after the results, it was down 3%. It recovered 3%. Coming to a specific question, first on United Breweries, yes, the stock could be under some pressure in the near term. Yes, Iran crisis clearly is a fresh challenge in H1. Coming to Q4, the volume growth was decent, 4%. Please note that in March month, a lot of the summer categories saw the impact of the rains happening in North and East India. And clearly in Karnataka and some of the markets like Telangana, etc., Rajasthan, there was a volume decline. But 4% volume growth, 16% growth in the premium end of the portfolio, I think that's a good number. And those were driven essentially by Maharashtra, etc. Coming to what was the miss, clearly, yes, margin miss was there. Clearly here what's happening is the outsourced breweries, etc., that adverse mix was there. And of course, because of Iran crisis, I think March also there was some impact. And now going ahead, company has called out around 400 to 500 crores kind of impact because of the glass bottles inflation. Currently, there's a shortage of glass bottles in aluminum cans, plus there's inflation in both. So that's why we'll prefer FMCG staples from a near-term perspective in our coverage space, because the pricing power is there, direct there. While in liquor companies, you will have to wait for state government. For example, Telangana is looking at a 12 to 15% price hike, but then state government approval is needed. That's why we'll prefer Nestle, Marico, Tata Consumer, etc. We like Asian Paint and Pidilite also. But yes, United Breweries stock near term, some pressure will be there. El Nino is a big positive for the category, for the company, but packaging cost, there's an inflation and there is a shortage. So that's the problem for United Breweries in Q1 and Q2 and Q4 also. The miss in margins is there.
You're saying there's going to be an additional 400 to 500 crore of a cost pressure on the stock going forward. And we don't know when the price hike will take place because it's a state subject also in some way. So what will this do to margins and EPS estimates? Because you are bullish otherwise on the United Brewery structural story.
The structural story is positive. If you see within Karnataka, where the government has said that linked to the alcohol content, the taxation will be there. That has led to benefit for both spirits and beer companies. For the beer companies, what will happen in Karnataka is the lower end of the margins will improve, X of the Iran crisis. See, Iran crisis, we don't know whether it will be for 1 quarter, 2 quarter. That is going to have a 400 to 500 crore impact. That's why I think currently how much will be the impact on numbers will get more clarity in the 3 p.m. call today. But yes, you are absolutely right. There will be some impact because this industry needs the price hikes from the government. Now, Telangana is talking about a 12 to 15% price hike. If that comes, it's a positive. Maharashtra is doing quite well for beer industry with double-digit volume growth. But yes, margins will be under pressure. My sense is in the first half, clearly we are looking now because of the Iran crisis at a single-digit EBITDA margin versus double-digit EBITDA margin. That cut will be there. I think FMCG companies clearly have much more pricing power. But in the case of liquor company, I think spirits will have the UK FTA advantage kicking in from Q2 or Q3. But beer company, the advantage will be quite limited from UK FTA. So yes, there will be a cut in the United Breweries, but we'll get more clarity in the call today at 3 p.m.
Abneesh, the previous answer, you said El Nino is a positive. You meant that for paint companies?
No, it was for beer, because beer clearly is a summer category. What we see, yes,
a hotter summer.
Q1, Q2, very strong demand conditions.
I see. For paint as well, I guess, right? I mean, maybe at the margin, I don't know. If monsoons is a down activity, a duller period, I'm assuming, especially in some states. From a paint offtake volume thing. So we'll see. But just Abneesh, just one thing, Marico, just to come back to Marico, was it largely in effect the copra prices being down quite a bit, 30-40% from the highs? What led to a kind of a stronger outlook being given out? Or you think there was more? Because it's kind of rare to see, a better, stronger guidance from an FMCG companies, at least lately.
So you're right, Prashant. I think Marico is, in a sweet spot versus many other FMCG staples because here the key raw material is deflationary, which is copra, which is down 35%. Yes, rest of the raw material, obviously there is inflation, packaging cost, rice bran oil, etc., LLP, etc. But on an overall portfolio, Marico is in a sweet spot, and that's why company, if you see, has taken a 10% price cut in the bigger parts of the parachute packaging. They have taken that. But yes, that's why I think the EBITDA growth has been accelerated to high teens. So that's a good news. Even in Unilever, if you see, company has not changed the guidance. So their guidance pre-Iran and post-Iran, EBITDA margin guidance remains the same and sales growth guidance remains the same. So overall, Prashant, what we are seeing, because of all these subsidies in the all states which are going into election, and because GST has led to more compliance, right? We see that overall sales growth for the sector remains strong. If you see in Q4, all staples companies have done quite well versus initial trends, versus initial expectations. Even Dabur and GCPL have seen high single-digit growth in the India business, so which was not there earlier for Dabur at least. So yes, there is a revival in staples. What will happen in Q1, Q2? Some bit of growth from volume will shift towards pricing, but overall some margin pressure will be there in gross margin. EBITDA margin pressure will be lower because promotions and advertising will be lowered. That's negative for media companies, but that's how FMCG companies operate.
All right. Hi, Abneesh. Good morning and always good to see you in. Abneesh, a quick word with regard to the point that Marico made in terms of their guidance. They are talking about high teen EBITDA growth. I just scrolled back and I saw, they haven't delivered 15% or more EBITDA growth all the way since FY 2019. So this would be a big aspiration, right? At that point of time, they were doing only around 1,300 crores. Now they're doing 2,300 crores in terms of EBITDA. What are you penciling in terms of EBITDA growth? As you mentioned, the EBITDA margin hit will not be as much. Gross margins could be a little bit higher. But what are you penciling in terms of EBITDA growth?
If you see Marico, one good thing is they give a lot of guidance. Generally, they meet most of that guidance. So they have given the high teens guidance. We were definitely expecting Marico to do quite well in FY27. I think it's coming from copra. Copra is down 35%. And if you see, this company has almost got 60% market share there. And in rest of the portfolio, Vaho is seeing 26% growth. So overall hair oil, if you see Marico, Bajaj Consumer, Dabur, everyone is doing well. And my sense is that's linked to those two reasons. GST is leading to more compliance and definitely freebies by the states are there. So coming back to a specific question, clearly copra is helping and definitely overall company, if you see the high single digit volume growth is something which will continue. So if any company which is able to do that, generally the operating leverage comes because of that also. So that's why I think the confidence level is high that high teens growth of EBITDA in FY27. We are also building in that currently.
Yeah, got that. Abneesh, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us. Good speaking with you and appreciate your time here on CNBC TV 18 as always. The pre-open session has, I think, come to an end.